Hi, my name is Thomas Cuglin. I'm a battalion fire chief with Marathon Petroleum Company in Garyville, Louisiana. Today I'm going to be talking about some tips for developing engine company training evolutions. These are very useful and valuable impromptu drills that can be conducted at the firehouse or if the company's out riding around in the territory and the company officer decides to spring a training evolution on you, this will be a great use for that. Um, One thing I want to talk about is the use of all riding positions on an engine company, first in engine company. It's going to be your driver operator, your company officer, your firefighter. A lot of this is just going to depend on how your staffing works. So just some of the tips I want to cover that what you can add to these as far as each position goes. First thing, before the even scenario gets started, the company officer can use note cards or any type of paper to write basically some fire and smoke conditions on a card. That way that they're already pre-made when they decide to pull the training. When you're going down, whatever the selected training location is, select a card. That's how you're going to base your scenario off of. So as far as the driver operator, just some things that can be thrown into this particular training evolution that would be very beneficial is map reading and route skills. Whether it's coming from the firehouse, the driver operator can look at a wall map and kind of determine what the safest and fastest way to that particular scene is, take into consideration terrain, if there's any kind of road closures, train tracks, anything like that, that would be beneficial. That way you can kind of be proactive instead of reactive when something comes and when you're actually in response. If you're riding around your territory and decides to do the training scenario before they even go anywhere toward the scene, it's a good practice just to stop, pull over in a parking lot, check out your map book, figure out where you're going, get your bearings, and that way you can get there the safest and fastest way. Some other things as far as the driver operator, finding out where the hydrant locations are. Whether if it's close to the structure, if it's a block down the street, that way they can determine if they're going to do a forward or reverse lay, or if they want to wait and have the second due engine grab their water supply. Just some things just to look out for. Also, another big one is apparatus positioning. And kind of practicing where to set up a particular apparatus, an engine, on whatever structure that the training is going to happen at, whether it's a residential or a commercial structure, and that way they can kind of position their apparatus in an optimal location that would be most advantageous to the operations. And also keep in mind that wherever you're placing your engine at that time, to keep in mind that not to block in any late arriving units, second due, third due units, special called units that would ever come to your location. So just a good practice on that, on placement, and just keeping in mind that if you had other arriving units come in, where would be the best position for that engine so you're not blocking the roadway. Some other things for the driver operator, it's a good practice to at least give two sides of the structure whenever they're coming on the scene. That way the officer can kind of maximize and optimize his initial report by getting at least two sides. So that's another thing that would be good for this particular training. As far as the company officer, he's going to be the one that selects the card, and whatever he or she decides to select. It would be a good idea just to make that selection of that card just prior to getting to whatever location that he or she wants it to be. So you select a card, and that card is going to read fire and smoke conditions, and that's where it's going to be your basis of your the company officer's initial report, their scene size up. He or she may select a residential structure, a multifamily dwelling, could be a commercial, industrial, whatever he or she, whatever their preference is for the training selection for the driver operator to respond to. And whatever structure that is, that's what his initial size up is going to be off of, whatever that structure is. And then So once he gets on the scene of that particular training session, he can do his scene size up, and also do a 360 around the structure. One thing I've also added to these cards, and you can make them as simple as complex as you wish, is some more conditions as far as a 360 would go on the back. So once he's doing his initial report, he can do a 360 and then give your secondary report after that, to relay that information that you would find on that. Some other things that the company officer should focus on in a particular training session would be operational mode, whether it's going to be offensive, defensive, or could be transitional mode. And then actually making sure that all the functions of the operation go smoothly, effectively, and efficiently. The firefighter, some of the things that he's going to focus on in this drill is considering what tools to come off the engine with, whether it's going to be a pike pole, a trash hook, a flashlight, Halligan bar, axe, whatever the case might be. Also keep in mind, depending on what card the officer selects for the scenario, that he would keep in mind whatever the hose line that he would deploy, whether it be pre-connect, pulling wide lines. If it's a defensive fire, might consider setting up a blitz fire nozzle, a small master stream, perhaps a deck gun. So those are just some of the things that the firefighter would focus on. Once all of this is done on the initial part for the first in engine, you can focus on some other tasks like ladder selection and deployment, PPV fan setup, where the optimal position of that would be. If there's any forcible entry that needs to be done, different tools that you might need for that, based on the type of doors that you could have to force, and even setting up some quick scene lighting. So all these positions kind of dig down deep into whatever their responsibilities within this training session to focus on. One thing that can keep in mind with these scenarios is they can be tailored and custom to whatever your organizational needs are, based on the staffing levels, the type of equipment you have, whatever your riding assignments are. And again, they can be as simple and as complex as you want them to be. So I hope you've can make some good training evolutions out of this. And if you'd like to catch my full article and the Academy newsletter, or on the isfsi.org website. Thank you.